Hi everyone, this is Payam from Budapest Real Estate Organization, and this is another video for you guys about the apartments in Budapest. In this video we would like to talk about the contracts, the details about it, and anything that you have to know about the contracts, rental contracts in Budapest. Stay with us. The purpose of these videos are mostly about general information. However, we are a real estate company. Our office is located in center of Budapest, and we would gladly present you our services. Feel free to contact us if you're looking for an apartment for rent or sale and investment opportunities in Budapest, Hungary. It's very important that before signing the contract, you make sure you have given all the requests necessary about how many people are going to be in the contract, how many people are renting, for example, what you need in the apartment that is missing, because usually the apartments are always fully furnished and they're well equipped. If you are missing some necessary items like a microwave or a vacuum cleaner, which are essentials basically, you can always ask them. And if you're asking something extra than the usual, you can obviously ask them. The point is to ask before you sign. So after signing, usually it will be very difficult to convince an owner for something to be bought or brought to you. 2 months, which is the deposit and the first month's rent. So for signing the contract, you will need to have 3 months with you or paid by the bank transfer. That's related to the deal that you're making. Anyway, when you are having that and when you're signing the contract, you need to pay that. Now, the security deposit is basically what you will get back after the duration of the contract is over and you have gone through the contract and you've finished the contract, so you don't break the contract and you are not damaging the apartment and you don't have any kind of a debt by the end of the contract. The security deposit will go back to you. Now, I have to tell you guys that usually we hear in social media different stories about expats that they didn't receive their deposit for some reason. There's always a two-sided story. It's always hard to find out, but I'm also a foreigner myself in Hungary. I live here for a long time, and I have seen and heard a couple of things like this, but usually mostly this doesn't happen. And the reasons that it happened is usually the bad relationship between the tenant and the owner, not reading the contract well, and not taking care of the apartment as it should be taken care of. So stuff like that, paying attention to this stuff can make sure that you do not lose your deposit. After signing the contract, on the same day, you need to pay attention to the list that is given from the owner or the agent regarding the furniture and the equipments that are in the apartment. This list is very important. You need to sign that list with the owner. You will have a copy. She, as the owner, will have a copy. And you have to make sure that everything in that list is written and nothing is missing or nothing is extra. Sometimes very strange in Hungary is that the contracts are in Hungarian. Make sure you discuss that before. Most of the time you get with the both languages, you get a translated version, but just to be sure, ask it, because we've seen many times that at the last step, you've seen many apartments, you reach to the point where you choose one and the contract is in Hungarian. I tell you one thing that in my almost 12 years of experience in real estate, I have seen. It is very important, really. Like the contract, I have realized that it's only a paper that basically gives you and the owner some sort of a secure feeling that, okay, I've got a contract. But the truth is that according to my experience, what I've seen is that really what kind of a relationship do you have with the owner during the contract, and what happened and how did you behave? How well did you keep take care of the apartment? How often did you ask the owner, and how did you ask the owner? Was it sort of like, hey, you gotta do what I tell you to do, or was it like, could you do, you know what I mean? Just like, so the relationship between the owner and the tenant is way more stronger than the actual contract. This is what I've seen, that many times I've seen owner and tenants that they don't even have a contract after first or second year because they just get along so well. But of course, there's also the other way around, that, you know, things don't go well, and depend also what kind of tenant he had before you. So what kind of an idea he has of an expat living in that apartment. Did they party a lot? Did they whatever? So there are a lot of things like that that actually helps you to have the right apartment and feel good and safe during your contract. The unusual things that happen for contracts. Sometimes we see that the owners have written that if you break the contract, not even you will lose the deposit, but you will have to pay the amount of the rents that are remaining until the end of contract. Make sure you pay attention to that. What happens if the contract breaks? I don't suggest talking about it very often when you're doing the contract, when you're signing, because it doesn't make the owner feel very safe that you're going to stay. So it's understandable if you're concerned, but just read the contract carefully, because sometimes we see that they say that, yeah, as I said, you know, you have to pay the remaining rent, which is, I don't think it's logical. And the other thing is that sometimes the owners write that for sure you will have to spend an amount for the painting of the whole apartment. So that usually regardless of whether you made a damage or not. Sometimes some owners are really honest with it. They will tell you that they want to paint it and they will ask you to pay it because right now you're getting an apartment freshly painted. And this is your decision whether you want to accept that or not. So these are the things. And what other problems that sometimes happen when renting an apartment in Budapest, we see that if there is a damage by the end that you wish to, you give the apartment back, there is a damage there, anything can be damaged, and the owners might ask a lot more money than the actual fixing of that issue. This unfortunately is a situation. There are many reasons about it, but I always say the use of social media here helps you a lot. Expats should use these a lot of groups, very useful groups in Hungary where you can use and you can post the problem and there's someone who can help you. You can discuss with the owner, you can say, I will find someone to fix it, and you can create a bill and stuff like that. So these are the things that you need to pay attention. All the apartments in Budapest have insurance, but the insurance does not cover your belongings, and that is very important for you to know. If there is an unfortunate situation happen there and something happens to your belongings, there is the owner and the contract, it doesn't insure your belongings. If you want to insure your belongings, you have to make sure you take your own actions related to that. I have to tell you guys, when you receive a contract, make sure your details are correct there and everything about you is written correctly. Make sure who is signing the contract. If it's not an actual owner, then you will need to ask for a certain paper from the person who is signing on behalf of the owner, which usually can be provided to you. If you have immigration progress, you need to make sure that the apartment or the owner would sign required papers for your immigration process, which usually the owners know about. So make sure that before signing the contract, that is taken care of. Another thing you should know is about the furniture and equipments in the apartment, make sure they're all listed and everything is there in it. Make sure to read all the terms about terminating the contract that is actually making sense and logical, and you can discuss everything about it. There is nothing more important than your relationship with the owner. This is in my experience. I have realized it. I have seen it many times that things that are happening can be something that no contracts can cover. However, I'm not trying to bring down the importance of a contract. Obviously, this whole video is all about it. But it is also important how your relationship is with the owner, and the best way to maintain that is to put yourself on the shoes of the owner and understand their situation in Hungary, especially if it's a Hungarian owner, they're giving an apartment to an expat. They might have a bad experience before that. They don't know who you are, what you're gonna do. So try to understand that and be the best of yourself. And I'm sure you're going to rent a good apartment. And again, guys, we're also having our office here in the center of Budapest. Here's our website, and support us. We have 5-star reviews in Google and Facebook, which we're proud of, and we hope your review will be there soon as well. I wish you all the best. Goodbye.